And then, so what we're doing, right? We're not buying these to wait for the auction to expire in the money or something like that, and then end up buying the shares. All we're doing is flipping the option contract premiums, right? So imagine that we're watching a company called Tech Giant or whatever, currently trading at $100, and you anticipate that this stock will drop in the near future due potential negative news release. Instead of doing taking a short on the stock, you just buy a put option, much simpler. Then you buy an out of the money put option with a strike price of 95 that expires in 2 months, and this premium costs $5 per share. So this option will give you the right to sell Tech Giant at 95 each before the expiration date. And then few weeks later, Tech Giant it releases their earnings, and it's a disappointing event. So the stock price falls. Even though the stock price fell, you don't actually own any shares, but your put option is more valuable because remember the idea of the coupon. Your coupon is worth something now. It's actually like valuable and usable. So your put option become more valuable because it allows someone to sell shares at 95 in a market where they're only worth $80. So the premium for a similar put option in the market is now $15 per share, and it increased from the $5 that you paid for that same contract. So to to flip that contract now, you bought it for $5 and you're selling it for $15, right? Instead of exercising that option and taking that 100 shares, you just sell the contract itself, and you sell that option for the new premium of $15 instead of $5. And the outcome is that you made $10 per share on the contract. So yeah, you made $10 or ten. Yeah, you made $10 on the contract. It's the what you bought it for minus what you sold it for. And then, key points is that you don't own any stock. You make profit from predicting the stock's movement without actually ever owning any shares. And you're flipping the contract. You're capitalizing on the premium change in the option. So your profit came from the increased value of the option premium, not from actually selling the stock. And then your maximum loss was limited to the premium that you paid for it, which was $5 at the time. And if your prediction had been wrong and Tech Giant stock didn't drop and went up, all you would have lost was $5. And then timing is important. Ooh, I didn't even know I could do that right now. But timing is important because successful flipping on contracts requires the accurate prediction of the movement and timing, since that these are something that expire, unlike stocks where you can hold infinitely. So yeah, flipping a contract involves buying an option and selling it at a higher premium when the market moves in your favor. And it's a strategy that leverages market predictions without the need to actually exercise the option or buy the actual stock itself. But the thing about options is that, I was talking about price per share. I gave that example previously just to explain the concept of how you can flip them to make money, but there's more implications on an option premium and the pricing and how everything works. Because I explained to you already that options give you the right to buy 100 shares. That means all option premiums have a multiplier of 100. So for that previous example, I said it's $5, right? The option premium is $5. So it's $5 per share, so it's 5 times 100. So you're actually paying $500 for that option contract. So yeah, the multiplier in the option contract represents the total number of shares that each contract holds. In most cases, in all cases actually, one option contract equivalent to 100 shares, and the multiplier calculates the total cost of the contract and the total profit or loss from the options trade. So let's go an example with that concept in mind. So Future Tech, don't even worry about it. But Future Tech, the current stock price is $50. You think that the price will go up, so you buy a call option. You buy one out of the money call option of Future Tech with a strike price of 55 that expires in 1 month, and the premium is $2. And remember, this option is out of the money because the current stock price is at $50, and your call option has a 55 strike price, right? So your total cost now, the premium is $2, but this is per share, and one option contract controls 100 shares. And because of the 100 times multiplier, you need to multiply this premium by 100. So your total options contract will be $200, and it'll cost you 200, not $2. But that's the $2 is the premium price, but the actual cost is $200. That's the dollar value. So 2 weeks later, the price reaches up to 65. Your $55 call option is actually way in the money now because you bought it for a 55 call option, and your strike price was at 55, and the stock price is at 65 now. So you're well in the money. And the premium is now at $10 instead of, what did I have it at? $2. So you made money on your options contract. So you decide to sell your options contract at the premium of $10, which means that each option contract that you had, or it's $10 times 100, so it's now worth $1,000 off of that $200 that you had spent. So your profit would be $800 because 1,000 minus 200, what you sold it for minus what you bought it for. That's profit. And so yeah, the key points for this multiplier effect: 100x multiplier means every $1 change in the option premium translates to a $100 change in the total value of the contract. I don't know about that. No, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So if your premium goes up by $1, it means it's equivalent to $100 in the actual value of the contract. And that's leverage again. Like, it gives you the chance to use less money to control a larger amount of shares. And then it's just a way to manage risk as well because, like, you're putting less money down to make more money, but it's higher risk because you have the potential to lose that a lot easier as well. So yeah, it magnifies the financial impact of an options contract because it ties its value to 100 shares of the underlying stock. And since you understand that now, I'm gonna show you how an options contract will make you money in comparison to the direct stock purchase with the same exact scenario, right? So, an option contract, in this example, $200 would be your initial option premium and your initial investment. And then you profited $800 by selling the option premium at $10, so you get $1,000 and subtract that by 200, right? That means your percent return on that option was 400% because you profited $800 on an investment of only $200. Only $200. But if you bought the direct stock and you actually held and owned the shares, if you only bought with $200, that same $200, if you bought shares, you'd only be able to afford about 4 shares, right? And then if you sold those same 4 shares at $65, you would end up with 260. You would end up with 260 at the end of the day, and then you'd only profit $60 instead of this, right? For the same stock movement, with the same amount of capital. So the stock price would have went up 30%. And don't get me wrong, that's still an amazing trade. 30% on a stock, that's crazy because the market really doesn't move on like 1 or 2%. I mean, on average, 10% by the end of the year. So 30% on a trade is still great, but it just shows you the difference in the comparisons on how much more you can profit using options if you trade them correctly. So yeah, and percentage return on the option trade is 400% and substantially higher than the direct stock purchase of 30%. Now, if you wanted to make $800 the same way with only using shares, you would have to purchase a total of 54 shares, and that would cost you $2,700. So a 30% return would net you roughly $810. And this just explains that's the math behind it. So you need to put down $2,700 instead of $200 to make the same amount of profit off of a 30% move. And that's how, you know, that's how the leverage actually helps you. But yes, you're at risk of losing that 800 more, but you also have to put down way less. And that's the advantage of options over shares. You can make more amounts of money without as much capital up front, but you get exposed to way more risk and the potential of losing all of that money just as fast.